Hello, and welcome to Weed and Grub.
Where do you buy your socks?
Oh. This is a deeper question than I expected out the gate, Mary Jane.
Okay.
Because I haven't gotten new socks in what feels like a very long time, yet it is one of my favorite things to own. Mm-hmm. A small gesture that would feel good every time I put them on that I need to do more of for myself.
Definitely. Are you talking like are you talking? Are you talking pre-pandemic sock purchasing?
No, and maybe this is a man thing.
Not to
but I feel
timestamp it,
like,
sorry.
oh my gosh, not evergreen. What if someone listens to this some other time? Evergreen. No, I think it's a dude thing possibly where we just stop growing, so our clothes always stay workable. And so I have like the same 3 pairs of shorts I've always had. I have the same 2 pairs of jeans I've always had, like until something has crotch holes and my keys can't stay in the pocket because there's holes that make them drop down the leg. I'm not getting new clothes. It's all fully about function over anything.
And yet your sneaker game is so good.
Yeah.
Like you always have a fresh pair of fucking sneaks. What do the kids call them?
Wow.
You call hats lids, right?
I go on your phone and the very first thing on your Safari Explorer is like, what kids are saying these days?
What do the kids call it?
There's highlights, there's bolds.
Do they still say things are fire? Are things fire around here? Hello, fellow kids. How's your fire day going?
Are you asking me about socks because you saw my socks the other day and you were like, yo, you need to go get some news?
No, I mean, I've been thinking about socks a lot because we saw Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar, and there was a really good sock joke in that made me laugh so hard.
Definitely.
Everyone needs to watch that movie. Fucking buy it while it's like in quote unquote theaters right now. Give your money to it so they make more of that shit. It's like old school classic buddy comedy with 2 brilliant fucking people at the top of their game. But on the sock tip, no, I'm asking because I'm wearing these socks. I don't buy socks very often. And I was given these socks as maybe like some Christmas swag, and they're very comfortable for the most part, but then the fucking part that goes up around your leg is too tight.
Oh, the cuff.
The cuff is too tight. It's squeezing my leg in an uncomfortable way. And then when I roll them down, they're too thick, so it feels like bulky. So I don't like that. Then I was just thinking about like sock purchases because I got some other socks that I've been wearing in bed because they're like cashmere. Ooh. And they make my toes feel really good, and then I kick them off just to the right time. But in general, I was just thinking like my sock game, I need a little help. And maybe I thought you had like a sock hookup, a sock plug.
A sock plug? Mm-hmm. Okay, so 2 things. One is I know you well enough to know you're still going to keep wearing these socks because you're going to feel bad because they were a gift, even though they're mad uncomfortable. And you're just going to be like, maybe they'll loosen up sometime. And they won't. And you're just going to continue to like grin and bear it. 2, I like to get socks when I get new socks from Gap. Most of my socks come from Gap. I think it's a nice thick cut sock.
You just call it Gap, not The Gap?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
The store?
Yeah.
With jeans and shorts?
Yeah.
It's called The Gap.
What if I just said Gap? Would you be like, is this a new place? You wouldn't
be like
it's
needs
a new
place.
No, it does not.
Absolutely.
If I said Bed Bath, would you be like, oh, what's that?
I'd be like, you're so lazy. Why aren't you saying the whole thing?
I'm not
Bath
gonna
and
say,
Beyond.
Because I'm not going to say The Gap. I'm going to just call it the one word.
So when you like need to like get a new phone, you go to Apple Store?
No, I go to Apple.
Oh.
Not all of us are journalists.
I know, I'm very formal. I'm like, I insist on articles and punctuation and proper grammar at all times.
Oh, it drives me nuts. It drives me so crazy.
I know it drives you nuts. I see it drive you nuts. I see you deal with it driving you nuts and deciding not to say anything to me because you know how I am and that I'll be mad and then we'll just be in a fight.
Yeah.
Because I insisted on formalities.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm like, we don't need the word the timing is off. And you're like, well, maybe we should use it.
Yeah, but can I just say, we recently edited something together where you were taking out like nanoseconds of breath, and then like you took out a third of a second of a breath at one point, and I was like, wow, dude. And you were like, I know. And then we went back in and we watched it, and we realized we'd trimmed too close to the fucking roots, and we needed to like let that shit breathe and have a little, some formality and structure that was more on my end of things. So
True that.
it's somewhere in the middle.
What up, Mary Jane?
How's it going, Mike?
Good. I've been put on blast, and so have you, so I feel like this is the appropriate time to do an intro. Welcome to Weed and Grub, everybody. This is a podcast about comedy,
Cannabis,
cooking,
culture,
and calling shit out.
and socks.
Or me being microsecond-y and you being wordy.
Let it breathe.
I know.
Yeah.
I really stood by that 0.3 seconds, and it was the wrong move.
No, that 0.3 seconds actually wasn't the wrong move. It was like the 15-minute cut that you'd made earlier.
Oh, I am brutal about that.
It was like, wow. I mean, if you were a landscaper, people would come out and they'd be like, where did it all go?
Yeah, they're never going to give me an Avengers movie because it would just be the fights. I would be like, nobody gives a fuck about them standing in an office talking. Just do like a star wipe to the next fight in the next location. Let's get this bitch down to 40 minutes. What are we doing?
Yeah. Oh, I hired him to redo my front lawn, and he just like cut it all down and paved it over. And he's like, that works better.
Ta-da! It'll never go bad. Yeah.
It'll always be fine.
Oh, there was one other thing on the sock tip before we move on to Gary Vee.
Oh, what? Okay. Sock tip.
You were talking about where I get socks. You
Yeah.
were talking about gifts. You were talking about...
Yep. Barb and Star. Why am I not saying that right? I love that movie. Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar.
Yeah.
Sock jokes.
What was the third thing that you were talking about?
Cashmere socks in bed.
Oh, yes, that was it.
Oh.
Okay, so I just learned, thank you. I just learned that if you go to bed with socks on, it heats up your body.
Yes.
And you actually fall asleep faster if you wear socks to bed and then take them off.
You saw that TikTok too, huh?
I did.
Was
yeah,
that
was
doctor
it.
who's doing like informative TikToks?
Yes.
I love that.
It was so cool. I was
Yeah.
like, I do that because I do love one of my... It's not even a guilty pleasure. It's just like a nighttime joy is to take off my socks once I'm in bed. Oh, it's really nice.
It's the greatest. Cashmere socks under a weighted blanket with a dog on my left and a cat on my right, and then slowly sliding those off. That's when I know I'm ready.
Do you use your big toe to hook?
Yes, always.
What happens? What do you do with your feet after you release them?
I rub them together so they make a papery wishing sound.
Is that true? Mm-hmm. That's cool.
It was totally what my mom used to do, and it used to make me crazy when I was a kid because I would like be sitting in the living room with her, and she'd be at the end of her day, and she'd take her socks off, and she'd do that like, with her feet, and I was always like, Mom, and now I do it, and I'm like, whoops.
It's not a bad thing to take from her.
Yeah, don't judge your parents. You're gonna get there.
If the worst thing is I rub my feet together like my mom before bed, I think that's all right. You came out okay.
I'm okay. What do
Yeah.
you do with your feet after you take your socks off?
I push, the big toe, middle toe space.
Yeah.
I push that into the Achilles heel of the other
that must
one,
feel so
and
good.
spread my toes wide and push into the, and then I do that with both, and really stretch them out. I feel like it's almost like cracking knuckles, but for sleeping.
I bet that feels so fucking good.
It feels amazing. I can only imagine being in my mom's womb and her being like, Jesus, kid, enough with the stretching and fucking, ugh. Yeah, I bet I was a shitty womb.
You were a bad fetus?
I bet I was a real annoying fetus.
Goes all the way back, huh?
Yeah. I had notes from inside there.
Yes.
It was a lot.
I think we should cut down this time that you're doing this thing. I know I'm just in here, but I don't see what you're doing. Is it useful? Is this a useful part of your day, Mom?
Yeah.
She's like, I'm eating to feed you.
That's why my apartment is so bare, because I'm just trying to get back to the womb when things were simple and empty.
And you could just stretch by yourself and no one would bother you.
Exactly.
Fucking stretching. You cannot be fucking overstated how great it is. I've been going on Snoops with our friend Natalie, and she's a dancer, and so she stretches constantly. She's always in some kind of stretch. And because she's got so many fucking amazing injuries that she's just amazing. So she's always like, oh, let me just lean on this thing over here and stretch my arm out or whatever. And she's taught me so much about stretching. And there's this place called Calf Stretch Corner that we stop at. We get really stoned before we go on our walks. And then we like walk up this huge sort of beautiful walk into the hills in Los Feliz, and we get to Calf Stretch Corner when we're like perfectly baked, and we've been laughing the whole way, and then you stand and you stretch your calves looking over downtown LA. That's heaven.
That sounds so nice.
It's real good.
It sounds earned.
Yeah. Also, stretching when you're high is like, have you ever done yoga stoned?
I've not done yoga stoned, but when I stretch stoned, I can see my bones separating in a beautiful way.
Yeah, it's so fucking good.
Yeah.
I'd rather do high yoga than hot yoga any day.
What if you combined it and did hot yoga?
Oh, I think I would not like that.
No?
No, I don't like hot yoga anyway. And I think if I were really high, I'm just so conscious of temperature anyway.
What are my neighbors doing?
Are they moving out? What's going on?
Good.
Your neighbors suck, I have to say. At
Yeah.
this point, like I'm over it.
Yo, real talk.
They're
It's
just
the same fucking people. They slam the door. They fuck super loud, which I don't want to get in the way of your bag if you're
No.
doing it for OnlyFans.
Have fun, but like, oh
yo,
my God.
shut the fuck up.
Today they took a shower that it sounded like they were in your apartment.
I know. Well, and it was long too. Like I like to take a 2 a.m. shower by myself alone, and usually with the lights off, so it's like dark and spooky, and it gives me a moment of clarity. They take an I don't appreciate a mid-afternoon hour-long shower. Like this pandemic needs to end just so that they get the fuck out of here when we record.
Oh,
Biden, institute some kind of mandate where everybody has to get the fuck out of their apartment between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. so that we can record our fucking podcast.
Yo, or we should just get a studio space. Maybe we should do that.
Okay. Great. Yeah. I mean, we get on a network because South by Southwest is going to be so dope.
That's right. I'm so fucking excited. We recorded that panel. Everyone check it out. We're going to be at South by 2021. The panel is called How Art and Entertainment Are Crucial in Destigmatizing Cannabis with our incredible guests, Open Mike Eagle and Laganja Estranja. So excited about it.
Let's talk about Gary Vee, speaking of it.
Oh.
So you were on a panel last Thursday.
Yes.
Where Gary Vee popped in.
It was crazy.
So far, when you did Glazed, my show Glazed, you played a potato who... Oh, no, you weren't a potato. You did all of...
Fatal Attraction in 10 minutes.
Fatal Attraction in 10 minutes.
Best movie ever.
And then Dave Chappelle came on stage. So you opened for Dave Chappelle. And last Thursday, you were on Clubhouse Green Street Magic Hour.
Yep.
Gary Vee popped in.
Wild.
Spoke before you.
Yep.
And so you closed for Gary Vee.
I closed for Gary Vee. What a crazy experience that was, because Rama had invited me to be a part of that Magic Hour, which you'd done the week before. So fun. They're doing it every Thursday. Check it out on Clubhouse. And they have amazing guests. And he'd asked me to come on and speak about earned media. And I was like next to the stage. And then he was like, coming up next to the stage, oh, we've got Gary Vee, who's a partner in Green Street.
Right.
And who had just like popped in. And of course, Gary Vee showed up in that room. It immediately swelled to 5,000 people. And he chatted for like half an hour about his, predictions for the weed industry and brands and, all his Gary Vee fucking knowledge. And then Rama brought me up and I was like, oh, hi. That was a weird experience. It was great.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
And what you were saying about earned media, I didn't even know about, and we spend so much time together. The idea of how to earn media for you, your brand, your company, etc., is really important and really hard to do.
Right. Well, so for anyone who doesn't know, earned media is just media that you don't pay for. So you're not writing your own sort of press release and then paying someone to post it, or sponsored content or advertising, or it's just someone else writing about you without you giving them any money. And that can come in the form of like a tweet or an Instagram post or a fucking Yelp review if you're a business. There are all sorts of ways that earned media exists. But yeah, I was there just to talk about, how I write about things, how I find stories to write about, what I like in a pitch, how to compose a pitch. And it was really great because I got a bunch of new followers on IG who DM'd me and they were like, I'd love to, tell you about my story. And I have some new things that I'm following up, some cool leads.
That's awesome.
Yeah, about people out there making their own dreams come true, as you like to say.
It's true. And the people who hit you up, were they receptive to the tips that you gave them on how to, do this dance?
It's so funny that you say that, because one of the things that Rama and I were saying was like, just write the email, the initial sort of outreach or DM or whatever it is. It should just be the hook. It shouldn't be the story. It shouldn't try to tell me much more than I want to get you interested.
Exactly. Like you don't watch a movie trailer where it shows you everything that's not the trailer.
Yeah,
Right?
you just want the trailer.
Yeah.
Exactly right. If I want to watch the movie, like I watch the trailer, so I will see the movie. You should send me that email, so I will look into your product. Don't try and explain it all to me in that initial outreach. So, I mean, a well-written email is so hard to do. Like you want a lot of white space. You want very clear links. You want, if there are any attachments, make sure they're not like fucking from crazy places. And maybe don't put attachments if you don't know the person you're writing to, all that kind of stuff. And then immediately, like one of the wonderful, truly a wonderful person who wrote to me, it was like 3 pages. It was a bunch of scrolling, and I was like,
how many thumb scrolls was it? 2?
3.
More? 3?
It was 3, yeah.
Yo, that's a lot of thumb. That's a lot of thumb.
But honestly, the crazy cool thing about being in weed media in the cannabis world is that, there aren't that many people who are qualified to tell the stories of a lot of these like smaller brands. And there are a few journalists out there like David Bienenstock, who's going to be a guest of ours on here soon, and some other wonderful writers who are just, qualified to talk about not only the story of, whatever that company or brand is, but like knowing the history of the plant and the movement and everything. And so I feel pretty lucky to have gotten an education to be able to write about that kind of stuff as I do. And I love it. And I know it's tooting my own horn a little bit, and I feel a bit uncomfortable about it, but like I feel uniquely positioned to write about cannabis in some ways. So when people reach out to me with their stories, I'm always like, fucking A, this is cool.
It is very cool. People believe in you because you're great at what you do.
Thanks. Now I feel weird and shy.
Why?
I don't know, because I was like,
what
I'm
would
really
Gary
good
Vee
about
say
writing
in this
about
situation?
Gary Vee, yeah, he'd be like, I don't even know. Just such fucking confidence and belief in himself at all times. So
congratulations.
Thanks.
And I learned a lot from that. If anybody else wants to check out Magic Hour, it is 5 to 8 p.m. Pacific on Thursdays on Clubhouse.
Yes, Green Street, Magic Hour.
Follow Mary Jane, and that's how you'll find it.
And follow Mike, because you were on there before I was. So look at you.
We're going to do other ones where I'm a shark, and I'm going to ask some of my comedian friends to come up with bad cannabis pitch ideas to pitch Rama and me on Magic Hour, where we will potentially PayPal someone up to $5.
Fantastic. I have to say, of the pitches that you had that night that you were on Magic Hour, I like the one where you were like, new federal legislation should be that after weed is legal across the land, that all new federal buildings should have slides instead of staircases. And then someone piped up and he was like, and slip and slides outside.
Yeah, see? It's a good idea when everyone's getting it going. Yeah, wouldn't that be fun?
And the water fountain should have Dr. Pepper in them.
The same shit that student council presidents run on. Strawberry milk in the lunchroom.
Totally. Every floor of every building should have a hot box room.
Yeah.
Just with like clean pieces and rigs that you can go in and just like fucking do a dab before going about your day.
Hey, if we're going to have those maternity rooms, then we should also have hot box rooms.
No.
Nope. Vote for Mike Laser 2024.
I do not endorse his campaign.
Oh, no.
You're out here coming for nursing mothers with your like smoking rights.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
This is now an official, and then I smack the baby picture and I cover it with a bong, and I'm like, oh, what
it's
a
not going to
terrible
work
thing.
out. It's not going to work out.
Speaking of campaigns, you want to get to the news this week?
Oh, yes, please. I want to hear the Grub Gazette.
This is from Marijuana Moment. You can check out all this great news where we're getting our news from at marijuanamoment.net. The Grub Gazette this week says marijuana delivery services are being added to the New York governor's revised legalization program.
Great.
Things are cooking in the right direction, potentially. I'll read a little bit of it because Cuomo was put on blast. So his amended budget plan to legalize weed has 3 new things in it. 1, it's going to allow marijuana deliveries. 2, it's going to lower the penalties for selling cannabis to underage people or illegally selling large volumes of weed. And 3, it's going to create a new framework for how social equity grants are distributed.
Fucking A.
Yes.
That's great. I'd really like to have a lawyer on from New York or New Jersey to sort of like talk to us about what's going on the East Coast, because it's such an incredible time and this stuff is all really happening. And Cuomo is rightfully being put on blast because he, I know about the selling to minors. They were increasing the penalties in order to legalize cannabis. They were sort of like being told that they had to make the penalties incredibly strict. And right now it's a misdemeanor. So it's actually going to mean that under legal weed in New York, that the penalties for minors being caught with cannabis would be stronger than they are now.
Isn't that crazy?
Stricter and stronger. And they would put kids, in.
So it used to be a Class D felony punishable by up to 2.5 years in prison. Uh-huh. Now it's $1,000 fine or up to a year in prison.
Right.
Big fucking difference.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Big fucking
Isn't
difference.
that crazy? You're so right. It is
crazy.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine any state thinking that legalizing cannabis without legalizing delivery would fucking get away with it. Like, there's so many people who, especially right now, with everything going on with the pandemic, but like people who need cannabis and they can't afford to, get to a medical dispensary, or they don't have a medical card for whatever reason because they don't have a qualifying condition, but they still use cannabis to treat, fucking to sleep better or whatever, to treat their fucking, nerve
Or in New
pain.
York, you're like, you missed the last train.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah. So you have to have delivery for all of the people who not only are immunocompromised, but people who just can't get to a fucking dispensary for whatever reason. Like, yeah, you have to deliver that shit.
Exactly. And it's a lower point of entry for anyone who wants to get in the cannabis industry. You don't need your own brick and mortar shop. You don't need this kind of overhead, which in New York is crazy expensive already.
Yeah.
If you can be a part of a delivery service, you have a shot at surviving and possibly thriving.
Yeah, some of the greatest delivery services of all time are in New York, the underground ones. They're fucking awesome. I have a friend who delivers edibles by bike. She makes them herself. They're fucking kosher and gluten-free and delicious and potent and fucking amazing. And she will come to your house and hand them off to you in a paper bag on her bicycle.
Ding, ding.
Ding, ding. Fucking awesome. That's the delivery service I want. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, Cuomo, get your act together. He's been doing all sorts of crazy shit.
Yeah.
So
well, and then on the third tip, the way that they're going to, like, grants are going to be more accessible for mental health initiatives, putting things back into, let me pull it up and just read. Why am I trying to remember
And
anything?
I really do hope that they are making it very much less complicated to apply for the social equity applications, because that's it. The fucking stop and frisk policies under Giuliani and Bloomberg put so many people in prison who, have the fucking right to benefit from legal cannabis more than anyone. All of the black and brown boys and men whose lives were fucking ruined by those punitive policies. Like, it's, the mind fucking boggles. So I hope that social equity licenses are very easy to apply for and liberally given out.
So yes and no. It's a cleaner way to do it, but there's a lot more departments that it has to go through before you can get them. But it's not this like scatter shot, let's figure it out, where then a big business can call another big business and be like, hey friend, we're both presidents of powerful places, we're going to scoop this all up. No. Like, they're trying to squash that. So they're making it difficult just in the way unemployment is a pain in the ass to get, or food stamps or anything else. It's like, you have to put these steps into action and they have to be perfect, but you have a shot. And so that's where it's at right now. And there's going to be the grants that you can apply for have to do with job training, mental health treatment, housing and financial literacy. There's going to be $100 million over the first 4 years, and then $50 million annually after that. So
wait, I'm not clear on this. You're saying that all of this, I'm not clear on what you're saying.
Okay. So I will read a paragraph.
Great.
In respect to social equity, the amended plan doesn't increase grant funding as advocates are calling for. Rather, Cuomo is laying out specifics on how the funds will be managed and what those dollars will specifically support.
Okay, so this is not for people to gain entry into the cannabis industry as licensees. This is to make reparations for the harms done by the war on drugs.
Yes, eligible community-based nonprofits and local governments can apply for grants in the following areas.
Gotcha.
Yep.
All right.
So we are still missing pieces of the puzzle, is
And
what
also
I'm hearing you say.
Yeah, give people jobs in the legal cannabis industry and make sure that if you have a record, especially for a nonviolent drug offense, that you're still able to fucking work in the industry.
The industry that people are profiting off of, that you went to fucking jail for.
Right. Like our fucking guest today.
Like our fucking guest today, who we'll get to very soon.
Yes.
Guests. What are we saying?
Guests.
Yeah.
Our amazing guests. I'm very excited about this conversation.
So New York is late to the game, still late to the game, but the people are putting the pressure in the right places to get things in a way that it'll benefit
Yeah.
like Americans, like society, and not just fucking people who all control everything, like I believe is the truth.
Well, thank you to everyone in New York and all of the states that are still working to free and legalize the plant for safe and fair access for all, because that's what we believe in. And we are, here to fight alongside you and keep talking about it and smoking it.
Doing it.
And eating it.
I'm in the back of my head while you're saying this, I'm kind of like, dang, I read out loud good. Because I haven't like done that. I haven't, you know what I mean? Like, I haven't done that in so long. Like, that's a skill that just goes out the fucking window after elementary school.
Oh, yeah.
And now I'm like, dang, I was reading good as hell right then.
It was fantastic. And thank you for explaining that to me, because I really was confused about what that was. So thank you. And yes, correct. You did great.
Do we want to get to Buds of the Week and then this interview?
Is it time?
It can be time.
Okay.
If we want it to be, we can do whatever we want.
Let's make it time.
We're not on a network yet. We haven't sold out completely just
there's no
yet.
like dude in a suit pacing in the hallway and looking in the window and tapping his wrist. Right?
Yeah, exactly. He has a fucking pocket watch and a wristwatch, because one is in China and one is in Russia, and he's that guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of actually want that guy on our side, though.
I do too, because I'm picturing Jeff Goldblum, and I'm like, oh, he'd be such a good boss at a podcast network.
I kind of want a boss, honestly. I would love to have. I mean, please don't take me at my word, but I kind of do miss the being told when to be and where to be by someone else, and like not necessarily needing to be in charge of setting it up for myself. Having said that, I wouldn't give up what we do for anything, and I don't want you to be my boss, that's for sure.
Hell no.
We're equals.
I don't
in
either.
This.
Yeah, no, we're equals.
But
you're gonna get that though, but you're gonna get that and you're gonna be like, remember the time when I was free? Like, the grass is green everywhere. It just depends on where you're picking it up.
Right. And I think like you just need to make sure that if you are hiring someone to be your boss effectively, which would be what we would do if we were to get on a network or anything, or like choose a director for our fucking screenplay or whatever it is, when you're hiring that boss, you just gotta, do it right. Like I've been so lucky to have some of the greatest bosses who have made me a totally like evolved person in so many ways. My skipper on the fish boat that I worked on was like one of the best fucking bosses I've ever had. I learned so much from him.
I get that.
Yeah, including being like, just chill out. If shit's not going well, don't freak out and yell. Just calm down. It's going to be okay.
That's a good
yelling
lesson.
on a fish boat doesn't get you anywhere.
Oh, I bet. And all the fish are like, ow, my
No, they're
ears.
dead. They're all dead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They're sleeping in ice totes.
Oh, they're sleeping with themselves?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's not bad. That was pretty fast.
Okay.
You hated that one. I can't believe you hated that one. You teed me up for a perfect home run.
Did.
And you still weren't happy with the
I can't give it all to you this episode. I said you did the news story well.
Oh, no, let's save that. I'm going to save the things that we have coming up. We've already talked about South by.
Okay.
I was going to let loose a couple more things, but we should wait.
Okay. Let's wait.
Another week or two.
Cliffhanger. People listening are all like, we don't care. Just get to the interview.
You think so?
I don't know. I love people who listen to this podcast because they're so like, I think like us, they're like, whatever it is each week, it's like whatever it is, Sometimes it's just Mike and MJ doing a loose moose, and sometimes it's like an incredible interview like we have today, and sometimes it's we're just talking about like
sometimes it's just my neighbors fucking for an hour and we're just sitting here quietly being like, can we go yet?
Can we go?
Okay, now they're slapping,
oh
now they're laughing. I gotta find it.
Yeah,
because maybe I could pay them to stop.
Oh,
like maybe that's my OnlyFans request. Yeah, and I'm like, hey, how much to get you to stop?
Every Tuesday between 1 and 3, I will give you $200 just to not do anything for 2 hours. I bet they'd say yes.
They would, and I'd feel terrible. I don't want that.
You're dictating their life with money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
No.
Yet it feels safer than walking downstairs and knocking on the door and being like, hey guys, we're recording a podcast we're really proud of and we love to do. Would you mind just like holding on for 20 minutes?
Oh.
Instead, I have to like passive aggressively slip them money because I am too cowardice to look them in the eye and be honest.
What would you think if you like lowered, sorry, I'm having like a total brain moment. If you lowered down a fruit basket from your window here, just in front of their window, like a nice fruit basket, like an edible arrangement with a note.
Every week?
every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Well, here comes that fucking fruit basket again from that weirdo upstairs who just won't come and knock on our door.
He's lowering it with a rope, and he's like, and detach it because I need the rope back up here for the next week. Thanks, guys.
I will say we are dedicated to the lockdown. That's why you can't go and knock on anyone's door right now. There's no door knocking. It's his old fruit basket lowering. That's how we got to do it.
I like it, especially because I still have to order the fruit basket.
Yes.
I have to go buy a rope. Mm-hmm. I need to let them know what this is so that it's not a fruit basket surprise week 1.
Yeah, you slide a note under their door the day before, and then you lower the fruit basket. Listen, this is how things are done.
Where?
I don't know.
Here.
Somewhere.
Yeah, here.
Some small island in Croatia.
Would you ever...
It's like the fruit basket lowering. Everybody knows that move. It means shut up, we're recording a podcast.
If I put you in their shoes, would you respect my fruit basket?
I would take that fruit basket and I would shove it up your fucking... I would bring that fruit basket up here and I would like jam every piece of fruit under your door with a broomstick and be like, fuck you.
Yeah.
What are you trying to do? No. You may not treat me like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be mad.
Word.
Yeah. I'd be super mad.
Let's get to Buds of the Week in this interview.
Yours first? Mine first?
I will go... Well, we kind of touched on yours.
Yeah, so I'll go first. Mine is Green Street. It's at Green Street on Instagram. They're an incredible cannabis creative agency here in Los Angeles. I met them when I moved to LA, I think maybe a week after I moved here. Rama and his business partners who run Green Street had this beautiful magic hour on the roof of the building of the offices that I was working in. And it was like the fucking coolest. I remember being up there perfectly stoned. The sun was setting. It was that crazy Los Angeles magic hour of the like pinks and blues in the sky. And I felt so perfectly held in the like palm of the city. There was amazing music playing. Everyone up there was beautiful. And I was having this conversation with this guy who was like, yeah, everything you want is in LA. There's mountains, there's surf, there's great weed, there's incredible music. And I was like, oh my God. And ever since then, I've been like, yep, they know what's up. So follow Green Street. They're great. They're building a huge building downtown that hopefully we will be recording some stuff at when it's ready. And they're just cool peeps.
Very cool peeps. My Bud of the Week this week is Sasso, the homie, Eric Sasso, an incredible photographer. He shot everybody from Young Thug to fucking P. Diddy, and Capetta introduced us. And it felt really cool because I'm on his grid with all of these incredible artists because he took some pictures of me. I'll post a picture on the Weed and Grub Instagram that he took of me this week.
Dope.
Follow Sasso at SASSO. He is not only a great photographer, but a great hang on Clubhouse. He's the kind of moderator you want because he keeps the ball in the air, makes everybody feel good about themselves, and brings other people into the fray. Mm-hmm. That's how you do it.
Love it.
So shout out to my Bud of the Week, Eric Sasso. You're a talented motherfucker, and I'm honored to know you.
Awesome Buds of the Week.
Yeah.
And now our VIBs.
Our very important buds.
So let's give them a proper introduction and tell Corvain's story a little bit, because when we chatted with them, the audio was a little bit, maybe went in and out. So we just wanted to really set this up for you. So Corvain Cooper was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for a nonviolent cannabis conviction, and he was granted clemency by former President Donald Trump just hours before Trump left office.
That part of our interview with them is crazy.
Bananas.
It is crazy. So here's the background on what happened. So in 2013, as Corvain was taking his daughter to a drill team competition, federal agents showed up at his house and arrested him. One of his childhood friends got a reduced sentence by fingering Corvain as one of the several people helping to traffic cannabis to the East Coast.
Wow. So on October 21st, 2013, Corvain was found guilty of money laundering, tax evasion, and conspiracy to distribute more than 1 ton of cannabis. The charges did not include any allegation of violence, and Corvain's prior record has no violent crimes.
Yeah, none of them. And of all the people arrested, including the leader of this whole network, Corvain was the only one who was sentenced to life. I mean, it was his third strike. He had 2 prior nonviolent drug felonies on his record, but life?
But Obama's administration had sent a memo just before Corvain's trial instructing courts to not pursue enhanced sentences for people accused of nonviolent drug offenses. But North Carolina insisted on applying the 3 strikes law to Corvain's case. And at sentencing, the judge said he had no choice but to send Corvain away for life without parole.
Fucking brutal. And then in 2017, changes in California law reduced both of Corvain's prior drug convictions from felonies down to misdemeanors, which changed his criminal history that he was sentenced on. The thing is, the federal court in North Carolina still refused to reduce his punishment.
Corvain was granted clemency on January 20th, and now he's free. He's home with his family, and he's working with his friend Anthony on a new social enterprise using the regulated cannabis industry to fight injustice for cannabis prisoners.
This was an amazing interview. Big honor.
Yeah.
So without further ado, here is our interview with
Corvain and Anthony of 40 Tons. From how you want to feel and when to what strain at what dose, achieving an ideal cannabis experience for your lifestyle can be a confusing journey of trial and error. While cannabis can be complex, enjoying it shouldn't be. Mode has the answer. It's the little dosing device with a brain.
that looks like a piece of modern art that hits so well that I hope everybody will get because I love this machine.
It's so cool. We're one of the first, I think, 20 or 30 people to actually check out the Mode, and I love it. It's got real-time dosing control precision down to a milligram. It's got smart memory. It has its own app. It's pocket-sized, discreet. It's for however you want to consume, medical or recreational. You just use it however.
Let me ask you a question, Mary Jane.
Okay.
Would this fit in all of your different pockets?
Yes, that would fit in like my watch pocket on my jeans. I think it would fit in there pretty well.
I think it's a fifth pocket accessory that I can't wait to use.
That is a ride along for life situation because it fits all carts. Basically, it's got universal 510 compatibility. So any vape cartridge that you would use with your 510 battery, you can pop it into the Mode, and then you can adjust consumption. So you can say, I want to have 2 milligrams per dose, or 3, all the way up to 5, and then it lets you know when you've had that dose.
So you're promising me a perfect hit every single time with Mode.
It's precision. It's amazing, and it's made by friends.
Yeah, that's the best part, right?
Yeah.
Supporting the homies.
Yep. We talked to the co-founder of the company, Steven. It was an amazing hang. He's such a neat person, such a great story. And they're just out here to like make the dosing experience with cannabis manageable.
Yeah. I like to know what I'm going to get every single time. So let me ask you this, because we are on one of only like 20 people who have this. Is it on the market yet?
It is not on the market, but you can reserve your own right now. So if you go to mode.co, you can reserve your very own Mode device, and you can get the new standard and personalized cannabis delivered when it's ready. Mode is the first of its kind device, giving you the ideal experience every time, powering a happy, healthy, and productive lifestyle from the palm of your hand.
I want a perfect Tesla in my pocket.
Oh, yeah. It is. It's like ordering a Tesla.
Yeah, sign me up.
Get to Mode and order yourself one. You can reserve your very own at mode.co. That's mode.co. And also give them a follow on Instagram at mode.co.
What is happening? Thank you for joining us. Could you please introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about who you are, how you met, what you do, what's going on?
I'm Corvain Cooper. I just was serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole for a marijuana charge, distribution of marijuana. And I'm happy to be here. I've been knowing this guy for 26 years. And, we're starting one of the biggest cannabis social impact brands, 40 Tons, and that's going to be the biggest in the world. And we just want to help the other 40,000 prisoners get out. And we want to change the narrative. They got me on a shirt now. Justice has been served for me. It's 40 more thousand people who justice need to be served for. And we're not stopping it until it's done.
My name's Anthony Alegrete. I'm the operations director of 40 Tons. My wife is the CEO of 40 Tons, and I've known this guy forever. We grew up together. We went to high school together. We started hustling together. We've done a lot over these years. And so we're now back together again, and we're about to crush it. And like Corvain said, 40 Tons is about social impact. So we have a lot of different verticals that we're going to be working with. So we're working on the cannabis vertical, making sure that we, follow all the rules, regulations, guidelines, and making sure that that's good. But then we also have apparel. We also have paraphernalia, like cigarette lighters, or not cigarette, but lighters, water pipes, bongs, trays, rolling papers, things of that nature as well. And so that's our way of getting into the industry. And it's very social impact. It's like Tom's, where for every one shoe you buy, you give to someone that doesn't have a shoe in a third world country. Well, for us, for every product that you buy with us, a percentage of that goes back towards helping the prisoners, whether it's when they come home or whether it's while they're still locked up.
I want to get into your story a little bit because I know, Corvain, you're recently home after being incarcerated. So can you just tell us a little bit about what that's like, and also just your story? I mean, I know a lot of people would like to hear about, you know, how you ended up in prison in the first place, and how you got out.
Okay, well, I'm walking on water now, so it feels, you see that water you're drinking right there? That's how I feel. I'm walking on water. So I can all start back from, we started selling marijuana in like 2003. We started selling 1/8. Yeah, me and him had a 1/8. Then we flipped that to a half an ounce. Then we flipped it to it. You know, it keeps going. Then we go to the ounce. Now we're at the pound. Then we figure out, wait a minute, you can send the weed out of town. We don't even have to do this. You can mail the weed out of town and get double the money. So we find out how to do that. So now the game's kind of elevating now. So it's kind of going kind of faster, because now you can get paid next day. For $3,000, you can get $6,000 if you send it on the other side of the world. So you just got to put it in a box and mail it. So we're thinking like, whoa, we're not hurting anybody. We're not affecting anybody. We can sell some weed and sell it on the other side of the world and send it down south from California and get double our money. So why don't we want to just do this? So we end up doing it, and we end up keep doing it where we make it, where we're tired of boxes now it's crates. You know, now we want 200-300 pounds at one time to get to the other side of the world in 2 days. You feel me? So it keeps going up and up. This is why it's 40 tons is a brand, because that's the name of the conspiracy, and that's what we were charged for. You see what I'm saying? So it keeps going on. So now after 06, everybody's splitting up and breaking up. So he goes this way, I go this way. Everybody's going in different directions. Now with all that going on, it's 2008. I bring an old friend back into the game. So I get back into the game of sending it to Charlotte. And this is how I get me and my co-defendants, because they needed help getting the money back from Charlotte. So he only needed me just to find somebody to get the money back. I don't have to touch the marijuana. He's going to do he's a workaholic, so he's going to touch all the marijuana. He's going to go out there and deal with the people. I don't need to meet the people in Charlotte. So Evelyn and Natalia, if you've read my case, those are my co-defendants that I want to travel with, because I got them tied in it because they helped me get the money back from Charlotte by putting $18,000 a day in their account. So we went to trial. Boom. Now the old friend comes back. He ends up turning on all of us. So now comes to speed it up a little bit. It's 2000. Why he's already in jail? He gets caught in 2009 or 10. Like so he's tying us all up in it. But I don't know that the powers of be that you can be in jail, have a long record than everybody, and get everybody off the streets and tied into a conspiracy, because I had to learn about the conspiracy law when all this is happening, because now we've backed out. I started a clothing store. I started my own clothing line. I've changed my life around. I got my kids. Everybody he has an organization called Jump for Joy. Everybody's doing their own thing, and we caught ourselves. We thought we got out the game. So now 2013 comes, and the feds come knock on the door and says, remember the thing in Charlotte? Remember that money that you made? Okay, you got to pay for that now. You're going to get expedited to Charlotte, even though I've never been to Charlotte a day in my life. I don't know anybody in Charlotte. You feel me? I never talked to none of the people in Charlotte. So I thought, well, okay, you got to take me to trial. And my co-defendants thought the same way. Well, let's all go to trial, since the only hardcore evidence you have, because somebody can get you in a conspiracy right now. If there's somebody that's doing wrong and that's have a phone number, and they can show the jury a ledger of you talking to them, they can just show the call logs. At our jury, they didn't show nothing but call logs at our trial. So it's not like they had a physical conversation of me talking to anybody. So just know that. And so me and my co-defendants went to trial, and we got found guilty in October. So we did a speedy trial from January thing. So I'm like, I'm still thinking like, I'm found guilty, but I don't think they're going to give me life. You know what I mean? They're saying it, but I just can't actually see it happening. So then in 2014, he actually slammed the gavel and actually said, you got life without that. This is hard on the court to do, he said, but you're getting a life without the possibility of parole. So now I have to fight. You feel what I'm saying? So it was a long journey from there. Besides leaving your family behind, that's why 40 tons is a brand it might look easy to carry, but it's not. You know what I mean? Because the 40 tons is a weight, but it's carried on everybody. It's carried on my mom's getting older and her legs broke. My dad got older during the time, so I missed their 60th birthday party together. The kids or missing Father's Daddy's Day at school when I got 2 daughters and I'm not at their 6th grade graduation. You're missing everybody else's dad can pick them up, but I can't pick my dad. Where's my dad? Why he can't ever pick me up? And they're saying that I'm never coming home. So you have to deal with all that on it too. You know what I mean? So,
and relatives dying.
And relatives dying. My uncle died. My granny died. You're losing people. It's just, it's not no easy road, Now, remind me you're doing this alone because you can't go to visit. You don't even know anybody out here. So don't lead a part out that you're going through this all alone. My boy Parker Coleman, luckily, he's going to be the first person we're going to get out. He used to have his mom and his sister come visit me. You see what I'm saying? So that was the only visits I would get because I don't know nobody in Charlotte. My family's not been in Charlotte. I'm the breadwinner of the family, so I'm the person that would fly people out. So now the breadwinner is gone, and I'm the glue to the family. So it's just a lot, you know what I mean?
If I'm out of pocket here, I apologize, but it seems like they're using laws and ways to get you into a prison industrial complex, use you as an example. Like you're being, like, it just seems like you're being used in all of these ways that are just like not only like inhumane, but also just like inaccurate. Like you're being painted as this person that you aren't. You have a fucking business. You were out of the game. Like you created something for yourself.
That actually makes it worse on you because now they're going to show this in your trial. They're going to show the business. This gets you a money laundering charge because now with conspiracy, it's so hard to get out. It's the web you can't get out of because as long as we were talking on the phone, as long as we just had this meeting that we're having right now, whatever it is that you're doing in your personal time, you're selling pounds, you're selling weed, they can say that we're selling weed because we had 10 emails of us hooking up about to do something. And this was the big deal that we did. So they're going to break it down and show the jury in a different way. Then they're going to get up on the stand because they're trying to get a time cut. So they're going to say whatever it is that they need to get out of jail against you. And this is their only witnesses because the actual investigating officer said, have you ever seen Mr. Cooper committing crime? No. Have you ever seen Mr. Cooper with any weed? No. It's actually better to get caught with 10,000 pounds. Even if you got caught with the whole 80,000, with the whole 40,000 pounds, you still wouldn't get life. That's a possession. So you might get 5 or 10 years if you actually just physically just got caught at the warehouse with the pounds. That's actually easier to do than actually getting a conspiracy charge of something that's keep going on.
So I apologize if this is like an insensitive question, but I do think that the people, our listeners, are gonna want to hear an answer to it. Is prison like every TV show that you see? Like, what the fuck is it like?
That's a deep question right there because some people go to different prisons. You feel what I'm saying? So I only went to USPs where people are getting killed. I've seen 4 or 5 murders. I've seen 8 suicides. I've actually seen a guy slit his whole neck from here to here because he can't take the lockdown because we're on lockdown 24 hours a day in a cell. I was actually on lockdown when we got to Clemency. You know what I mean? When the Clemency came through, I was on lockdown then. So, and they're calling every day and they're calling back and forth and there's still tension in the air and lockdown. And everybody has a knife. Thank God for the blessings. I came out without a scratch. There's some people that's not leaving and not making it out of there. So I made it out of there without a scratch. And I've been around, I guess I can say some of the best killers around the world, so.
Because I remember on the 40 Tons Instagram, Anthony, like you just threw everything in your bag and you hopped on a plane and like it was a wrap. Like there was just no questions asked. I think it was even a red eye to meet Corvain like there. Could you talk about that briefly?
Yeah, so we're in the middle of doing a documentary, and part of that documentary process was capturing basically the end of Trump's term. And so as the days were counting down, I was getting feedback from various advocacy sources that, hey, it's looking good, like it could happen. But obviously you don't know. Like, I mean, this is a long shot. It's 1 in a million. Who knows if it's going to happen? But each of these advocacy people kept saying, no, it's going to happen. I'm feeling it. I know it is. We're talking to Ivanka's people and this and that. And I'm getting this feedback from multiple sources, right? So I call up, I hit up Sarah's one of those sources from the Last Prisoner Project. And I'm talking to her and I'm like, look, we need to go out there, period. Like, I have to be out there. If he doesn't get it, we'll just record. I'll get a local film crew out there. We'll record, and we'll stand in front of the prison and complain that he didn't get to come and see, and we'll still be able to salvage something of me going out there. But if he gets out there, it's going to be an amazing victory. We need to film that process. We need to capture it. We need to make sure that we can never document. We don't get to like say, well, hold on, we'll go back a second day and refilm him getting released, right? Mm-hmm. So we had to be able to capture that moment in time, real time.
Corvain, were you sort of like waiting to hear the news? Were you preparing and just like waiting that whole time?
Okay, let me tell you how that went down. So we're in jail. So it's the day before. So now they got the CNN on there. So shout out to Harry L too. Shout out to Harry L, Lil Wayne, and Kodak. So their names was up there. So I'm like, damn, my name ain't up there. But they're my boys though. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? I'm happy for them. But we're going to still wait. So we're waiting to read the ticker. So we're on lockdown. So I need somebody on the bottom tier. So I'm screaming on the bottom tier, like, man, tell me what's going on the ticker. It's damn near 11 o'clock now. My name still hasn't went across the thing. So I'm like, damn, we put in a lot of work. You know what I mean? We just did the BET thing. Just on the 29th, it was a front cover New York Times. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm like, the momentum's there. So next thing I know, I go to sleep around like 11:30, 11:40, like, oh man, I kind of got to prepare my mind again to get into a whole nother fight because people don't do clemencies when they go into office. Biden will be in the office tomorrow. I've already put in the universe that I leave when Trump leaves. That's when I say I'm leaving the prison. When Trump leaves the prison, gets on a helicopter, I'm leaving. So now it's morning time. I wake up, boom. I've been listening to NPR. Everybody's been listening to NPR, and my name still hasn't been called. No one's heard it. I'm like, damn. I take a deep breath. Biden might do 8 years. You know what I mean? So you might have to wait eight years. You got to wait till people's end of their term to do clemency. You see what I'm saying? So that's the only thing I'm banking on, or a big change in the law, you know what I mean, for cannabis. And those are my only 2 shots of getting out of jail. We have exhausted all our remedies in the court. Even though I don't have any priors anymore, if I was arrested today, I no longer have any felonies because I was the campaign for Prop 64 and Prop 47. So we have exhausted that. We went to the Supreme Court with that. They denied that. So this is my only way of getting out of jail. So now I'm like, damn. Next thing I know, it's the morning. We handcuffed. You might got to get a handcuff to go to the shower. I can't just open my door to go to the shower. We're on lockdown. We're on a serious lockdown. Somebody yells out their door like, man, Paul, like you're in Louisiana, man. They move real slow around here, man. They probably still got your name, but they just ain't probably get the paperwork yet. It's 6 a.m. in the morning. So I look to my left. Trump's getting on the helicopter. You know what I mean? So I'm like, damn, I said, Trump, I know you ain't just gonna leave me in here like this. You know what I mean? Like, damn. So Trump's getting on the helicopter and they're singing. Biden's getting inaugurated in. So it's not like Trump's going to sign it right now and stop and get off the helicopter. You see what I'm saying? So your shot is even longer than the last shot because it's 6 a.m. You feel what I'm saying? So he's already leaving the office. So if they haven't called your name yet, then it's over with. So I actually got to come to some paper to that by working. So grab it out. So next thing I know, they come to my door. After I come back from the shower, it's like 10 minutes later. You know what I mean? So then they say, hey, Mr. Cooper, they hand me this thing right here. This is the exact paper. So this is the first time on any interview anybody actually seen me.
Wow.
It's gonna get framed in my house. That's from the president. So they said, there's my name right there at the start. No one has this on their interview, by the way. And they hand me this paper and they say, you got 10 minutes to go pack your stuff up. I go call my mom's and I say, Moms, I'm crying uncontrollably now. And she's like, what are you crying for? Monica called me at 12:30 and said, you're coming home. I'm like, no, these are tears of joy. You know what I mean? These are tears of joy. So she called me, said, call in, and it's already outside. And it's history after that. Here we are. We're right here.
I think this is a good point to talk about the cannabis industry as a whole. Because something we talk a lot about on this podcast is how people who are nonviolent cannabis offenders who get out of prison, a lot of them can't even get jobs in the cannabis industry because these laws are all so backwards and messed up. But now we're at this place where it looks like it may go federally legal as soon as this year. So coming out of prison and working in 40 tons, what does the industry look like now? And it also seems like you've been really embraced by it for all the right reasons.
It looks like to me me personally, I believe that with everyone making billions of dollars, you know what I mean? And, it's about to be $1 trillion industry once it's actually proved that everyone coming up, not just me. I'm not only speaking for me. I want to be able to speak for even the guy with the $5 weed sack that got caught and he had to do 9 days, to the dude that like me that had to do the 40 tons. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in between, all the prisoners should be able to get some kind of love back from the cannabis community where, you know, we need medical and dental and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? Like there's things that you come home with that it's a $1,200 bill if you want to go get your teeth fixed. But if every cannabis dispensary put together $50 a month, you feel what I'm saying? And it all went to a fund where that went towards the prisoners at war, to all the POWs, where now, okay, now you guys have medical, or now you guys have this, or now you have insurance for this. For the fight, we're in the fight just like them, like they were in the fight. You feel me? Now that the benefits are kicking in, just take care of the people that serve frontline, just like you got to say, for a veteran that served frontline for the world, for the United States, for our country. So we serve for the plant and they serve for the country. And we just, you know, it'd be nice if we just had a little couple of benefits too, because you're gonna have some people that may need help in housing, help in this, and help in all different kinds of departments. And I just think it'd be great, you know, I mean, if they all got together and done something like that, because it's just would be just such a small percentage. If you just add it up from Seattle to Colorado, if everybody just got put in $100 a month at each dispensary around the world, what it would add up to, and how many people you can help.
That's the most reasonable proposition that I've heard about how to just levy like a tiny amount of money from legal cannabis to give back to the people who've been harmed by the war on drugs.
Just 2/8 out of the whole little thing, just 2 little things.
Every brand, yep, just $100 a month would be something, and then obviously there'll have to, you know, some sort of control of that and making sure, and you know, depending on how many years you serve versus or whatever, but that'll all come once you implement the macro idea of it.
And you're working on entering the legal space with a line of cannabis products down the road.
Yeah, so we're working with the Evidence brand, and so the Evidence brand, we're doing like a white label situation. We're hopefully that should be happening very, very soon. We have a documentary coming out that we shot like 2-3 weeks before Corvain got out, which was a brand story EPK, but we shot it like a doc, so you'll watch it like a little 5-minute doc kind of thing.
Amazing.
We got to look into my eyes. We got the book coming out too, trying to drop that 420. It's going to have fun and sex scenes and stuff like that. And I mean, it's going to really be my real life. It's not going to be fabricated. So you're going to really get to see the stuff that I went through growing up, you know what I mean? So it's going to get personal. It's going to be, you know, my mom's going to be on drugs. My dad's going to sell drugs. And, you know, it's going to show growing up rough, and it's going to have everything of what I had to do to survive.
Can I ask you about how you talk to your kids about this kind of stuff? Because I feel like my parents kept me really isolated from the realities of the world, and I wish that they'd known how to talk to me about stuff. How do you talk to your kids, and then how do you suggest everyone should talk to their kids about all of this?
Just be straight up, because these kids, man, these phones and these computers, they're smarter than you think they are. So don't pull their leg, because they know that you're bullshitting. So when we're passing by now, they're looking up, you know, when you get to LA now, it's a big sign that says, welcome, cannabis is legal, you know, so it's the billboard, it's fucking big as hell. So they see that, and they point it out to me like, Dad, you were in jail for that, and they got cannabis legal, and, you know, stuff like that. So it's just great to know that the kids are way smarter now, and they're going to teach you stuff now. You know, I mean, you can't teach the kids nothing. They're going to be teaching you now, because they're way more advanced than we are. They're straight A students too.
With my kids, they've just been around it growing up. So they, you know what I mean? We grew up poor, you know what I mean? We kept, you know, did everything we could to keep our kids out of the areas where we grew up at. You know, their grandparents are from the hood. They're like, everyone is, you know, my wife's mom and grandmothers, rest in peace, were in their lives. So they saw this, and, you know, her brother's going to jail and dad going in and out of jail growing up. And so they kind of have been around it to the point where, you know, it's not new to them. Right. And so we always did our best to, like, even though we were doing the stuff, to keep them out of it, You know what I mean? And so it's kind of almost double standardish, right? Because you're doing, you're hustling when you're young and you're doing these things and you would never want your kids to do it, but then they see it, right? So we had to go through that evolution of learning how to be better parents. But I think with what Corvain said of just let them be them and you be with you to them and you just talk with them and you're truthful with them. I think that's what it's about. It's about open dialogue, because it doesn't matter where you're from, who you're from, if you're rich, you're poor, you're from the hood, you're from the hills, you're from here, you're from there. Conflict occurs when there's no communication.
You two are, and your circle, your circle, your people are an unstoppable force that I'm honored to talk with you today. Thank you so much. Could we do a bunch of plugs, because everybody should find you everywhere and support you in every way they can?
Yeah. First and foremost, we are fundraising right now for Corvain. He just came home. As you know, when you've been off the streets for this long, you need housing, you need transportation, you need toothpaste, you need just the bare minimum, just the basics. And so
we're in the hood right now too.
We're in the and we have to be out of here in the next couple of weeks. So the issue is you need to rehabilitate and get back on your feet. And so the first thing we want to say is, if you can go to the GoFundMe, just type in Corvain Cooper GoFundMe. It's the first link that pops up on Google, or the Cash App $ Corvain Cooper, and just donate whatever you can afford. All of it goes to a good cause. It goes to help him and his family. And so we don't want to have him go to work at Taco Bell, in 2 or 3 weeks when the buzz has gone down that he's home. We want to build these brands and we want to push the movement. And he wants to go talk at juvenile halls and talk to the other cannabis prisoners and really help and do good. Well, the only way you could do that is if you have an income and you have the ability to do that. So that's where we'll start first. GoFundMe, Corvain Cooper. Secondly, the 40 Tons brand, you can find us at 40tons.co. That's 40tons.co. Everything is on our website there. We got shirts for sale that 100% of proceeds go towards his welcome home. We've got hoodies and we got hats, and we're in the process of making more things as we go. Our Instagram is 40 Tons brand, 40tons brand. And that's the same across all social medias: Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter. It's all 40 Tons brand. And then Corvain's personal Instagram is at Corvain Cooper. So you could follow him there. Same thing with Facebook, facebook.com/Corvain Cooper. You can also find the companies that we're working with, which is Evidence. You can go to Instagram. There is Evidence Bag. They're an amazing organization. We're also working on a deal with a company called Blaze, which is CBD products and potentially Delta 8 products. So look for that in the upcoming time soon. That's called Blaze with a Y. And who else we want to give a shout out to? Last Prisoner Project. Yeah. You could always find them at Last Prisoner Project. Corvain sits on the board. Marijuana Matters DC, L'Oreal sits on their advisory board. Buried Alive Project, big shout out to Brittany K. Barnett. We got the Up coming soon, so I'm on the board of Up too. So we got the Up where we're going to help the kids out. They got a coding thing. We got some things. There's a lot. Yeah, there's so many plugs. It's ridiculous.
But the book is going to be what you want to do. If you want to really jump on a roller coaster and you want it to go up and down and go fast and really get on a real ride and get a real LA story of a guy that tried to make it out of nothing, then that's the one you're going to pick up, because it's going to be raw and uncut. I'm not going to cut anything. It's raw. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's going to be some things you like. There's going to be some things you don't like, but it's going to be true.
And all of that is all you'll be able to find everything at 40tons.co and or our social media pages. There'll be branches out to all these different things. So there's a lot on the table right now. We're blessed. We're thankful. We're working all the angles. We're vetting everything, making sure contracts are good, making sure that we can legally do the things that we want to do, right? He's still technically on probation, so we want to make sure that that's
10 years. I'm on 10 years paper.
10 freaking years, man.
So the chain is still is not broke yet. We're trying to get it broken. We're trying to talk to Tommy Chung. He's supposed to have a plug with Biden, and I'm trying to get a pardon.
We're hoping, yeah. I mean, we're praying. We're keeping our fingers crossed, and we're hoping that that happens. But in the meantime, we're doing everything that we can by the book. We want to make sure that everything's built right. We want to build it on brick and not straw, right? So that's what we're doing. not just on the legality side, but even also on the branding side, right? We want to make sure that anything that we put out is just good quality, good flavor, good look, good everything. So find us at 40tons.co and you'll be happy. I think you'll like what we have.
All right. Shout out to High End too. They send me a lot of clothes. It's my boy's brand. He sends me chains and clothes and stuff. So shout out to High End too for keeping me fresh.
And shout out to Weed and Grub, man. Weed and Grub, you guys are doing big things. We really appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys because you guys were one of the people that reached out to me on Clubhouse before all this madness and craziness, and you guys just wanted to show support. We did. So we appreciate that. And so that's why we wanted to do this now, is, to give back to you guys for just always showing support and connecting us with Zoe. Shout out Zoe Wilder. So she's on the team now too. So we appreciate you guys. Mike and Mary Jane, Weed and Grub. You're gonna go listen to them right now.
They got the exclusive.
Well, thank you both. And also, if you didn't have the opportunity to write all those links down, you can always go to our show notes and our show description, where we will have every single thing for you to click on and show your support as you listen to this podcast. 40 Tons, Anthony, Corvain, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.